Hi, I'm Angela from Sleeping Bear Cabin Craft. Join me as I go into the hive. Okay, it is mid-August, and so there are a bunch of things that I need to do with the hives. One thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out their sugar water. We'll see that if they're even drinking any of it. They may not be. There's still quite a few flowers, goldenrods coming in, so they may be okay. But if not, I do have sugar water to refill. Also, what we're going to do is we are going to test for Varroa mites. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then I'm also going to do an inspection to make sure there's brood in there and that everything looks okay. Maybe do a little queen spotting, see if I see anything there. So that is kind of the idea for today. Let's get started. All right, let's get in there. We'll start with Mellifera first. Now there should not be any bees in the top here because this is where the sugar water is. And there aren't, so this should be good. Okay, so it looks like they drank all of these, so we will be refilling these today. So I have a new tool that I purchased. So these are frame holders. These will help when I just take one of the frames out. Instead of just laying it next to the hive, I can actually just hang it next to the hive. So if we were harvesting honey, this would be a perfect one. There's tons of honey on here. But we are not. So one thing that I noticed is with these, you're gonna wanna put them on after you take the frame out. Okay. So that seems to work pretty well. I do want to find some brood since that's going to be what we're going to need for the Varroa test. And more than likely the brood is going to be kind of in the center of this. So that's what I'm going to try to do now, is not worry about the other frames, but take maybe one of the center frames. Now these have a lot of honey in them, so I actually think I'm going to go down to the lower super so that I don't aggravate them too much. Now this is pretty tight, so I'm going to do this very slow so the bees have time to kind of get out of the way. Okay. Okay, so you'll see that there is some burr comb and some honeycomb on here. I will get that off just so that it doesn't stick together. Okay, this is a beautiful one. Let's see if we can find the queen. Okay, I'm taking a little bit longer on this because this is what I'm going to use for my sample for the Varroa test. Okay, I do not see her. So I'm gonna put this one off to the side for just a minute while I can get the rest of equipment together. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about Varroa. So Varroa mite is a pest that infects honeybees. And so what it does is it's very small, so it's probably about the size like this on the honeybee. And it feeds on the fat of the honeybee, and it compromises their immunity, and so they're more prone to get viruses, and this can lead to the hive or the colony dying. So it's important to test for these. I have not tested before. This is going to be my first time. So it is important. Some people test every month. There are a few different ways that you can do it. One is what they call a sugar roll, and that's where you get powdered sugar and you kind of tossle them around, and then you see which mites come through. That is okay, but it's not the best way to do it. Unfortunately, the best way to do it is what is called an alcohol wash. And I'll show you kind of how that works. Okay, so I have Varroa check right here, and this is the little canister that you use. So you will see that there is a little basket here. This is what the bees are going to be fitting into. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a alcohol water solution, so rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. The first thing you do is you put it to the bottom of the white basket. Then the next thing that we're going to do is that frame that we just took out, I'm going to shake that into a box. Then we're going to scoop up bees, and we're going to put them in here. Okay, once we do that, we'll put the top on, we'll shake them a little bit just so that they're not going to fly away. And then we will fill, there's a line in here, we will fill to that second dark line with the rest of the alcohol wash. Then what we'll do is we will shake it for about a minute, and then from there the mites will fall off. We can look at the bottom of this and see how many mites are in there, and that's what we do for the Varroa check. Now I am going to go a step further. It says to get 300 bees. Of course, it'd be near impossible to get 300 bees, so it's going to be a little bit over, a little bit under. I am going to actually check how many bees there are so I can get a more accurate count. So that is the procedure. I'm going to put the alcohol solution to the bottom of this basket now. So I pre-mixed it. It is 4 water to 1 alcohol. Okay, so I'm going to shake the bees outside of view, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the frame and I'm going to go like this to shake the bees into the box. So here are the bees. We want some that have uncapped brood, and there are some capped brood here. We want the nurse bees because they're the ones that tend to carry around the Varroa, since they're the ones that are working with the brood. Okay. So we're going to shake it for about a minute. And also with the solution, if you strain it out, which I plan on doing, you can use it for future tests. And since I have 2 hives, I'm going to be doing 2 tests today. And also another thing to think about is if you have a box that you're doing this and you have a couple hives, you'll want to get all the bees from the previous hive out because you want to get an accurate number for your Varroa test. So I'm going to put this back in. They've been through enough heartache for today. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see how many mites that I see. And actually, I'm going to put the hive back together. Like I said, I feel bad that I you know, had to mess with them this way. So I'm gonna put that back together, kind of let this settle, and that'll be probably easier for me to count the mites also. So here's the box that I use. You'll see that there are some bees still in there. Those are nurse bees. When you do the shaking into the box, the ones that fly away, those are the forager bees. So these are actually the best bees to have for this test. I'm gonna put them back where they were. Okay, let's see what the counts look like. Okay, so I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there are 5 in this one. Okay, that seems to be a pretty good number depending on how many bees I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to keep them so I can inspect them later. And then I'm going to strain out the liquid so I can use it again. And then we'll do the same test on Boudica's hive. Okay, so the solution is ready for Boudica's hive. So let's go ahead and get in there. Alrighty, so hers look dry as well, so she'll need some, which isn't surprising. Okay, so I can't completely see, but it kind of looks like there's honey on the top of this one as well. So instead of worrying about the top one, I'm gonna go into the bottom box and see if we can find some brood for Boudica. Okay. So once again, we're going to go into the middle of the hive. Okay, this is great. Oh, I see the queen. I see Boudica. Okay, let's see. Can you spot her? You see her? Okay, there she is. You see her? Very nice. Okay. Okay, so we do not want to use the one that has Boudica on it for sure. Let's put her back in. And then I'm going to take the one that's next to her. Now I will check again because she could have gone to this new frame. Well, this frame is not ideal, so I'm actually not going to use this frame. But since she's not on here, I'm going to take it out for right now, so we can pull another one. Okay, so we're going to go one frame over from Boudica. Okay, this one is a possibility. Let's make sure she's not on here. I don't see her on that side. And I don't see her on this side, but once again, I'm going to check twice. Oh, there she is. So she is right here. Look about where my finger is. Okay, so I guess I'm going to keep this frame out, and then I'll get that other one. Okay, so this is a good one for our test. Once again, gonna knock them down, put them into the solution. Okay, I didn't get very many off, so that isn't great. Okay. So we got the new ones in here. I'm actually gonna get Boudica back in here. See if I can find her. Okay, so let's see what the Varroa check says. And also what I found with this is it is hard to see if you go like this to look at it. So what I think I'm going to do is similar to the other one. Once I took the bees out, I was able to see that there were 8 Varroa instead of the 5 that I saw when I looked up into the sky. So we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to let that settle for just a minute. So from here, there is some other debris, so it is a little bit more difficult to tell. So I'm not even going to make a guess from this. I'm going to strain the bees and then we'll do it from there. Okay. From this, it is still pretty difficult to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, thank you, son. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say 5 on this one. Okay, so that is what I'm doing today. I am going to come back and get their water ready for them, or their sugar water. But I'm pretty happy with those numbers. So basically what you want to see is 3 or less per 100. So we had 8 for Mellifera, and then we had 5 for Boudica. So if there is 300 bees, then it's a little bit under that threshold. But that determines whether you need to start treating or not. Right now, the mites are starting to grow in numbers, so this is why we need to really watch them. Probably what I'll do, because I'm actually okay with those numbers, is a month from now, I'll do the same thing and see if they need to be treated then. So that's what we're doing. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.